You know how people say action speaks louder than words? Or a picture is worth 1,000 words? That's the feeling I've been getting for a week, for days. But I never thought this day would come. I never ever thought, not even a year later, that this day would ever come. Minus the on the Asylum show about maybe 2-3 months ago, but never visioned myself ever doing this again on YouTube, especially in the state I am right now. But folks, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I do not want to do this, but I had to do it. Welcome to your WWE Dynamite review.
There's nothing in your life that will top seeing a live WWE Dynamite.
It takes a good actor to know how to act, and not even an actor in movies, in TV shows, or on TV personnels, you know, TV hosts, wherever have you. Sorry I did that, folks. But hey, I bet some of you bought it too, by the way. Especially after I'm doing some teaser videos about you know, my real life thing that's going on, by the way. That's real. But this was just you know, me just goofing around and playing around. Let me just start by saying this before I get to this review for Dynamite. This is the first time Jim Ross said WWE on Dynamite show. He says before, and I remember doing the live reactions with the Asylum. Now I don't remember if I was doing the coverage during that time, or it was Christian that was doing the coverage during that time. I don't remember. I'm assuming it was Christian's on his channel, where Jim Ross said, "We're gonna take you to the WWE champion Kenny Omega," and I was sitting there watching that, listening to Jim Ross saying that, and I thought to myself, wait a minute, did he just say WWE champion? And like I could have swore I heard him said WWE champion. And I said to myself, unless I missed something, unless Kenny Omega went to the WWE and became WWE champion by beating who was the WWE champion during that time? Was it Drew McIntyre? Maybe during that time? Who knows? I can't remember what Dynamite show that was, for what month that was, but I'm assuming it was Drew McIntyre who was the WWE champion at that time. Maybe it was The Miz, maybe it was Bobby Lashley, who knows? But that was hilarious. But Jim Ross made a statement on Twitter saying that, you know, it's live television, you know, it happens, you know, it's a slip up. But the second time you do that, at the end of Dynamite, which probably, those are a video clip of it that Remington shared on Messenger. I didn't watch it. I mean, I did watch it for a little bit, but I didn't want to catch that part when he said WWE Dynamite. So like, you know what? Maybe watch the show. You know, I started watching it from the beginning all the way to the end, and as I'm watching it, I see myself, okay, where is he saying when did he say the part of WWE Dynamite? And I'm not hearing any of it, unless I missed something. I don't know if I missed it or whatever, until we get to the very end. And I'll just get that out of the way. At the end of the show of Dynamite, Jim Ross slipped the words once again on Dynamite television on TNT. WWE, this time not can't make it the WWE champion, but this time WWE Dynamite. And when I heard him say that, I started cracking laughing. I died laughing. Like, he did it again. Jim Ross did it again. He said WWE once again. Oh my God. Unless WWE owned the rights of Dynamite under the nose of Tony Khan that we didn't know of, I'd like to hear it. Like, oh my God, man. Look, I'm gonna cut Jim Ross some slack because he is older. He's got, you know, that illness and everything that he's still going through right now. He's been through a lot, losing his wife, unfortunate, back in 2017. He's been abused by WWE, you know, Vince McMahon, Kevin Dunn, whatever have you. He's been through a lot. So I'm not gonna rip him apart. I'm not gonna do that at the end of the day, because he, you know, another slip up. That's basically what it was. It was just another slip up. Maybe he missed WWE. Maybe he missed working for them. You know, despite how they treated him and everything. Maybe they you know, they pay him right. They pay him good. They you know, in a way. But maybe he missed you know, going back to WWE. Maybe, cause yeah, at the end of the day, that was his home. Now he's been in other promotions before, obviously. Before he went to WWE, at the time it was WWF. But when it came to the position he was in, that was his home. That was where he became a, you know, a household name as a commentator. And as the sirens keep passing by, making these noise, I gotta get the hell out of this you know, this area. By the way, maybe it'll happen someday. Right now I'm going through something right now that I definitely need to get over once the season ends. But that'll be another time, another video. But the point is, maybe he missed working for WWE again. Maybe he wants to go back to WWE and all that, you know, because he felt there's been some unfinished business during that time, which I don't think there's really no unfinished business there, because he's done all he can there in WWE. He's a Hall of Famer. He's done commentary for Raw, for SmackDown, but at one point Sunday Night Heat, WrestleManias, Royal Rumbles, SummerSlams, Survivor Series, you know, other pay-per-views. You know, I don't remember if he ever did. Actually, no, he didn't. He never did commentary for Saudi Arabia, which he shouldn't do in the first place. Either way, because that country is a piece of shit. Just saying. But maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's homesick. Maybe he's sick and tired of AEW. Maybe that, you know, because, you know, not a lot of guys, you know, appreciate Jim Ross about his comments when he said, you know, about a few years ago, maybe back in 2019, maybe, or maybe in the beginning of 2020, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. That, you know, Darby Allin was one of them, by the way. George Janelle was one of them. Some of you were one of them too as well. I think maybe a Brandon Cutler. Yeah, not all are fond with Jim Ross. You know, pertains to the comments they made pertains to AEW on his podcast. So that could be a has something to do with a little bit of that as well. But hey, at the end of the day, Jim Ross is being treated right. At the end of the day, they're way better than what WWE has been doing with him. You know, but yeah, people were kind of slack on them and all that, and like, you know, so, you know, they can do whatever they want, but don't go overboard with that. By the way, just don't go overboard with that, because at the end of the day, it's Jim Ross. He is good old JR. He is one of the best commentators ever, in this promotion, in this business, and in the sports. So there's a lot to crap on someone like Michael Cole and others of the commentators commentating more than Jim Ross, especially with Excalibur, with the things that he had been saying. But I digress. But he's still a good commentator too as well, which tends to being a mark. But I digress. But yeah, that's all I got to say from there, folks. So Cook, you know, even though it's been you know, a week already, you know, and a week is going to be passing by, but cuts Jim Ross some slack, because, you know, he's not going to be around forever. He's obviously he's not getting any younger. He's older, and you never know when his time might come. And the last thing you want to you know, to think of whenever his time is come is, you know, bashing him because he said WWE on an AEW show. So, but speaking of AEW, this will not be your WWE Dynamite review. This will be your All Elite Wrestling review, which is to giving you AEW Dynamite results. Back on the Wednesdays, by the way. This was back on the Wednesday night, which, by the way, thank God. Now the Saturday was fun, even though I didn't watch it on during that night because I was working, but I still meant in the catching up of it. which it did feature Jungle Boy versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship, which was a great match, a great main event match. So that was fun. And those and the show was fun too. Either way, you know, I love the format of the show. I love, you know, I mean, there was some things I nitpick and all that. Maybe I didn't like, some I didn't like, but at the end of the day, it's still a great show. Maybe because of that main event. So I'm glad they're off of Fridays too, by the way. Because Fridays, you know, some was a hit, some was a miss. They were still good shows to me either way, but that was an Achilles heel for AEW because the ratings and everything. And I'm not the type of person that care for ratings either way, but at the same time, after seeing the ratings on the Friday nights, especially after when SmackDown was over, you're not gonna have any AEW fans to tune into AEW Dynamite on a Friday night after they just got to watching SmackDown. And for those WWE fans that was watching SmackDown, those WWE fans are are also majority are AEW fans as well. So that thing they want to do is watch another show, a wrestling show. They just got to watching, and they want to spend time the rest of the Saturdays afternoons or evenings to do something like going out, dinner, whatever, partying, whatever, hanging out with friends, families, or whatever. Basically going places, to the movies, whatever. Because now everything's getting a lot better now after the I mean, we're still a little prior to that pandemic and everything with COVID-19. Because some people still need to get some vaccinations. But it's still getting better. It's getting a lot better, which things are getting back to normal now. But you still gotta wear your mask. Just saying. People still also wear gloves too. Just saying. You still got and there's something about another virus coming. That's gonna be the never ending thing. There's always gonna be viruses coming. So that's the only thing they need to be prepared for. From everyone around the world to be prepared for any type of virus that could be spreading. That way we won't be put in that position ever again. Because during those times was our dark days, especially everything happening during that time too, with all the bullshit happening. So yeah, where it pertains to those fans that are loyal to AEW, and the pro wrestling itself after watching SmackDown, maybe they could, try to pour out a little energy drink, like, like a Monster, a Red Bull, a Mountain Dew Kickstart, a Mountain Dew Games Fuel, Bang, Reigns, like Roman Reigns, the big dog, or at this point, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, has some Reigns, a rib, the Stacker 2 energy drink, that you can order online. The what's the other energy drink that I remember growing up looking at as well? The Stinger energy drink, something like that. YJ, oh yeah, I remember YJ Stinger. Yeah, that was the thing, folks. Look it up. And I'm pretty sure there's something online too. I don't know if they do or not, but I digress. The cola energy drinks, by the way, that they made as well. Yeah, which it's been new since last year. During the pandemic. What the odds, huh? Howling Monkey. I mean, I don't know if there's ever any more of those Howling Monkeys around. Because I remember growing up, I'm drinking Howling Monkeys energy drinks, and they came me up like I was a Howling Monkey. Yeah, and then, folks, there was such thing as called a Howling Monkey energy drink. Look it up. But yeah, I'm an energy drink fanatic, by the way, in case you haven't figured it out, haven't noticed it, especially if you see my drink reviews. Just saying. Anyways, but yeah, but I'm glad they're back on Wednesday nights because they need the ratings back, they need the demos back, they need the viewers back, they need to be back on the destinations on Wednesday nights after the NBA's schedules once again fucking up the schedules of AEW. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but I digress. But we'll see. But your AEW Dynamite results for this All Elite Wrestling review, the show from July I mean June 30th, 2021. We're not there yet, by the way. July 30th, we're not there yet. Not saying there's gonna be a show on July 3rd. Yeah, but I digress too. But they're at Dave's place in Jacksonville, Florida. It was the final nights on their on that show, because after that they went back on the road. And no, that will not be the final time they'll be going to Dave's place in Jacksonville, Florida. They probably will go back later on this year. We'll see. But the only reason they were there in the first place because that's their home. That's their Tony Khan. Since to running the football, stadium and all that. That's along with his dad and his sister. That's their home. At the end of the day, that's AEW's home. All Elite Wrestling, that's their home. And after what for the last 16 to 17 months being at Dave's place in Jacksonville, Florida, I want to say is it's the bitter end of that pandemic era. Of their pandemic era. And we'll get to that later on. What happened when it comes to how they did the video package, and we'll get to the main event too, which we'll get to when I get to it. I got a lot to say about the main event, by the way. But yeah, after this could be end of the road. I mean the end of the line for for Dave's place for now, until they come back there later on. Maybe they'll be back there maybe later on this year. We'll see. Who knows? But which means with them being gone and being back on the road to other places. Unfortunately, we gotta say goodbye to a few others from the AEW Dark, like Akane King, Baron Black. I meant to say, I was gonna say Bronson Reed. I thought about saying Bronson Reed's in the WWE. Meant to say, NXT, or he may get called up to the main roster because of what I heard. But yeah, Baron Black, Fuego del Sol, among others too as well. I can name all of them off the bat because they're not signed to AEW. At the end of the day, the ones that are going on the road is AEW for those who work for AEW. And unfortunately, hey, all I can say is Julia Hart is lucky. Because had she not come in, during those time where they get ready to get back on the road, she would never been signed with AEW. Where it takes to her being paired up with Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison, which by the way, Brian Pillman Jr. by the way, he also signed with AEW a while back. Which is why he ended his dates back in was it in 2020 or in the beginning of 2021, where he's finished his final dates in MLW, Major League Wrestling. And after he did that, after that was done, he made those commitments and everything. He officially signed with AEW, which I'm so happy he signed with AEW. And on top of that, he's doing good things in AEW right now, and we'll get to him later on about his match against Miro. So it's good that Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison are there, and they are a tag team, the Varsity Blondes. Paying homage to Brian Pillman and Steve Austin as the Highwood Blondes, and then a nice connection to it. Julia Hart, who is a cheerleader, is a perfect fit for that whole thing. I love that trio of Griff Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr. and Julia Hart as the Varsity Blondes. That's great. I love that. And on top of that, they're wrestlers at the end of the day. So Julia Hart's lucky that she paired up with them, and she signed with them, and she could travel with them all over elsewhere. But unfortunately for those that don't work for AEW, unfortunately that's the end of their road, and they got to go back into the indies and make them livings at the end of the day. So but enough of that, folks. Let's get to what happened on the show. So Chris Jericho came out first for a chance to his song Judas, and the crowds were singing along. Oh yeah, someone else too. I'm gonna miss Tasha Price. Tasha Price. They should have signed her. she was just a you know, a thing of beauty. I don't understand why they didn't sign her. Maybe she didn't want to be signed with them. I don't know, but I enjoy watching Tasha Price on AEW, on Dynamite, on Dark Elevations. You know, even on BTE. Even though she was on that one time, which I give that show a thumbs up for that, just because of that, of Tasha Price being on there. But Tasha Price, she's good, she's beautiful, she's got a nice personality, she's a fun girl. Don't know her personally, but I follow her on Instagram, and we you know, we have conversations back and forth on you know, in the comments and everything, or to her photos and everything. But I'm gonna miss her the most on AEW. But I can still watch her stuff on YouTube and everything of wherever she's gonna be at. But man, if AEW needed you know, a women's you know, a roster to mean something, even though you already got Britt Baker, Riho, Hikaru Shida, among others that, you know, like Christian Lander. But yeah, Jay Cargill, by the way, gotta bring her in there too. Tasha Price could have been that fit. Could have been that woman too. And especially when it comes to Alex Gracia, who they fucked over so many times with her. And now she's in the Ring of Honor. Great job, AEW. Great job. And no, I'm not gonna cut down the Russell because she's not signed with AEW. She wrestles for AEW. I mean, she wrestles in AEW because they allow her to, because, you know, the negotiations with AEW and NWA. But at the end of the day, she's still signed with NWA. So anyways, but Chris Jericho comes out, and, you know, they do the sing along of his song, which was great. It was great, always great. Then we get to opening match. The opening match was Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero Miedo, being accompanied by Alex Abrahantes, versus the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, with Brandon Cutler at ringside, and Don Callis on commentary. The Young Bucks came out, and they had the most ridiculous mustache I've ever seen in my fucking entire life. And apparently Brandon Cutler had a mustache too, which I didn't realize it because he was wearing a protective face mask and everything. And I'm like, this is why I can't stand and get behind the Young Bucks anymore. But yeah, as the late folks, I have been sick and fucking tired of the Young Bucks, of the way they're acting, the way they're being annoying, the way they're they're literally killing the business. You know, the book is not just a book; they really are literally killing the business the way they're doing these type of shits. And it's good. It got to the point where, like, I got sick and tired of. I'm sick and tired of seeing the Young Bucks now. I never thought I'd ever say that. I never in a million years I ever thought I would say that about the Young Bucks, because I love the Young Bucks. I like the Young Bucks. But the way they've been carrying themselves, the way they've been acting, the way they breaking kayfabe in and all that, breaking the fourth wall and all that, and everything that they do, all the silliness, all the goofiness, and especially with the Good Brothers too. Oh my God, man, this is horrendous. So the match happens. I couldn't get into the match, especially when they had Brandon Cutler trying to cheat, you know, using the air spray onto, I can't remember if it was to Penta or it was to Kingston. I don't remember which one it was. By the way, when it's this match, if Eddie Kingston and Penta could beat the tag team champions, they get a shot at the tag team champions on the next Dynamite show. And I say to myself, why are you having, you know, tag teams going up against tag team champions, where to a point if you have to beat the tag team champions, it makes you irritated, because, you know, if you beat the champions, that means you're the champion. I hate that shit. I thought this would be an alternative from WWE, because WWE does this shit all the fucking time. I get sick and tired. I got sick and tired of seeing that on WWE television. How about having a local championship match of two tag teams, and whoever wins that match, they get to face the Young Bucks. Oh, what a concept, right? It's simple. It's not rocket science. But the cool spray, whatever that shit's called, the air spray that they always use. So red color. Oh yeah, he tried to spray the Penta, but Penta ducks. And as color as spraying it to Matt Jackson's eyes. Red color will not stop. He's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. He keeps spraying, and then you have Matt Jackson, standing, he's in agony and pain, like, and I'm like, oh my god, I fucking hate this. This is what I'm fucking talking about with this shit now. This is a prime example of them literally killing the fucking business. And I can't remember if the Goobers came out there to help too. Oh yeah, actually they did. And then you have the Elite Hunter, Frankie Kazarian came out. And then in the end, Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero Miller wins. So that means they get a shot at tag titles against the Young Bucks. Whatever. Now, Christian Cage. He tells Younger Boy that he was proud of him when he took it to Kenny Omega. He believes that that Younger Boy will be a champion someday, and tells Younger Boy to go and get that 50 win. And Luchasaurus came up and Marco Stunt, who I gotta remind people, when it takes Marco Stunt, he always stunted his growth. It's true. But they show up, and Luchasaurus thanks Christian Cage for helping out Jungle Boy narrow that. And he's talking like he's in his character of being Luchasaurus, and then he goes for he's going for that he'll have Christian's back and all, and Christian jokes about some dinosaur genes and like that, and then Luchasaurus like, oh okay, well what's going on, like. Whatever. But back to the Jungle Boy. The whole thing with the 50th win thing. I say to myself, where all this come from? 50 win for Jungle Boy. If he could get that. But which we'll get to it. Basically, the build up of can Jungle Boy get his 50th win? And I say to myself, wait a minute. If that was a thing going on with Jungle Boy, why didn't they play that up when he went up against Kenny Omega as on Saturday? On that Saturday's Dynamite show. Now, you could say, now he could get his 50th win. He could be the first AEW star to get his 50th win in AEW history. But he could also be the AEW World Champion. But this makes no sense. What the fuck is this? What is this some kind of prize? If you get, which we'll get to that on the next review of that for Dynamite. Which Roll Rager, by the way. Tony Schiavone, he goes to interview Ethan Page with Scorpio Sky at ringside. But then, as Tony Schiavone brings up Ethan Page challenging Darby Allin in the coffin match, asking him why the match and all that. Ethan Page, he grabs the microphone away from Tony Schiavone, and Tony Schiavone just stands there while, Ethan Page just talks. And I say to myself, there's no point of having Tony Schiavone being in the ring to interview if he's not going to interview these guys. And asking one question doesn't count. It's stupid. It makes no sense. Alright, I'm back, folks. My apologies for that. I was going to say before it cut me right off that I had to to cool down my phone because I basically had the plug on to charge it up my phone and all that, and I guess it was causing too much heat that it couldn't take it anymore. So right now I'm using a fan, but right now it's nothing but total darkness, as you can see. It's fade to black. So I'll keep that for a little bit until it's fully it's fully cooled down. But for now, let's get back to it. So picking up where I left off here. So yeah, I basically talked about the whole thing with Tony Schiavone not being doing not really doing an interview because they always take the microphone away from him, not letting him do his job and all that. So I got that out of the way so far. Basically, Ethan Page, basically the whole thing when he challenged us to a coffin match, said that he's been doing to Darby Allin, saying that it's not enough. His goal is to exterminate him, I just say, saying that he's trying to cripple out Darby Allin on the Indies before and also in AEW, but currently it's not enough. Crowd starts saying to Ethan Page, basically they react to him, in a way that they don't want to hear from him. But then Ethan Page says that every time that Darby Allin does a coffin drop, going forward, he's going to use a flamethrower on a wait a minute, I think I read it wrong. Okay, he's going to think of Page, meant to say. It says, yeah, and then also his thing comes out, meant to say. Yeah, I basically jumped ahead words into what I was going to say. So basically, Ethan Page says, every time Darby Allin does a coffin drop going forward, he's going to think of Ethan Page, and that's when Sting comes out. Because winter has come. And Sting comes out with a coffin, and then we see a video footage of Darby Allin using a flamethrower, burning a coffin, and Sting pulls off some kind of sheet off the coffin, and it was Darby Allin in the coffin coming out and attacking Ethan Page, and Scorpio Sky gets involved, and Sting walks into the ring slowly and gets Scorpio Sky to a Scorpion Death Drop. Oh my God, that was actually comical. But at the same time, that's always been Sting's one thing that he always been known to do with his scroll gimmick back in WCW. So Ethan Page also, he's getting his eyes turned apart by Darby Allin with his with a fingernails of Darby Allin into the eyes of Ethan Page. And Ethan Page goes out in the ring, and then he's at this point we got officials come out there to help him, by the way, and they finally got out of the ring because of that. And then Ethan Page gets on record and says, of course, that he'll go after this is saying to Darby Allin that of course you'll go after me, and because you don't want to beat me 100%. So you know what? The match is off next week, and I want you to sign a paper of you can't touch me a week before we have a coffin match, and this is I'll see you at Fyter Fest. So why did they decide to change it, folks? Now first, I think to myself, maybe it's just Ethan Page, being the heel and all that. That's my theory at one point. So some people thought, why would they make the match in the first place if if they was just have it at Fyter Fest? So basically, after this is what people have been saying, but AEW decided to change the match for Fyter Fest instead of happening in Road Rager for Dynamite, is because Road Rager is going to be at Miami, Florida, and there was basically something happened in Miami, Florida, where there was some type of building collapse that people in there that died. So I can understand, if that's the reason why they did what they did, or why they decided to postpone the match for Fyter Fest on Dynamite, which is going to be in a different location. It's going to be in Texas. I don't remember where in Texas it's going to be, but it's going to be in Texas. So maybe that's why they probably did it. And if that's the case, then yeah, I props to them for that. Kudos to them, because that would have been a bad taste if they would move forward to do that. So that's what happened. All right, folks. I think on the phone's cool off enough as this. Now I'm gonna go back to on the screen, and I am back on screen. I'm gonna keep the headset on. So let's continue, because the next thing we get is Jack Evans versus Jungle Jack. Jack Perry, Jungle Boy. I guess everyone doesn't know his real name. So I'm pretty sure y'all read though. for those you AEW fans, you already know what his name is. So, anyways, but yeah, so this is the build up where Jungle Boy, if he could beat Jack Evans, he'll be the first AEW wrestler to reach the number 50 wins in All Elite Wrestling history. So the match happens. Match was good. And well, you know, Jungle Boy wins. Anyone thought that Jungle Boy was going to lose here after they build this up out of nowhere where he's going to get his 50th win? No surprise there. Of course, Jungle Boy was going to win. That's why they did this whole thing where he could be the first AEW star to reach number 50 wins in All Elite Wrestling history. Dumb. I mean, a good achievement, consolation prize for Jungle Boy. I guess it's better than a World Championship title, right? At the end of the day, he's not ready for that belt either way. So after the match, though, the Hardy Family Office came out, and then Jurassic Express, came out, and then Christian Cage and Matt Hardy starts fighting. Christian Cage hits the kill switch onto Matt Hardy, then starts choking him with his jacket. Jack Evans gets back in the ring, and then he gets pulled. Basically, he gets in the ring to pull Christian all the way from Matt Hardy, and that was it. So yeah, they basically built up this whole thing with Christian Cage and Matt Hardy, on one-on-one match that WWE has never done, with Matt Hardy and Christian Cage. They always done with Matt Hardy and Edge. Yeah. I mean, it would be nice if we were seeing that in WWE as well. Especially during that time. Now I don't remember if they actually did before. When it was becoming a rising tag team star, back in the Attitude Era. Not my knowledge. I can't remember if they did or not, but I digress. But this is but I'm enjoying this though. We'll see how where it leads to. Obviously it's gonna lead to Christian Cage winning. I don't see Matt Hardy winning either way. So MJF, he is outclassed and dethroned Chris Jericho over the last couple of months. He feels like Chris Jericho is smart enough to know when he's been best and decided to to stay away. MJF instead said that Chris Jericho has doubled down and decided to make a joke out of MJF. MJF said that Jericho is actually the joke himself. He once was the best, but now he has stopped. He stooped so low with his recent action. Say that that he will give Chris Jericho the stipulations that he has to go through to get a shot against MJF, which I'm pretty sure is going to happen at All Out. If they have a match, Chris Jericho loses, and if Chris Jericho loses, he has to leave MJF alone forever. And then he switches to Sammy Guevara, says that he's going to embarrass Sammy Guevara and all that, so because he's better than him and he knows it. So there you go. Alex Berhendez speaks with Andrade El Idolo about his announcement, and Andrade El Idolo, and they said subtitle because he's still having struggling speaking English, says that he was ready last week, but Matt Sydal interrupted him, and Andrade says that how about Matt Sydal go face to face on Miami, which AEW Dynamite Raw Rager. So there you go. And obviously Matt Sydal was going to accept. Tony Schiavone comes out. He's already out there. To interview the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega alongside with Don Callis. Kenny Omega comes out. He's got the facial beard of Harley Race, or maybe an Ole Anderson. Some people might say Triple H. Triple H stole that from Harley Race. So I don't count Triple H as that. Triple H rocked that back in 2005, all the way to 2007. Other than that, no. Fuck Triple H. But Tony Schiavone goes to the interview them, and guess what? Guess what happens? microphone taken away from Tony Schiavone. Like, what's the point? What is the fucking point? Why is Tony Schiavone even at this point? It's just a running joke. It's a running theme on the show now that Tony Schiavone not have a decent interview, while anyone to grab a microphone away from his hand, and then they do the talking. Like, what's the point? The whole point of Tony Schiavone being there is to interview the guys. It'd be like having someone backstage take a microphone away from Alex Marvez. Why he's conducting an interview? Yeah, why they not doing that to Alex Marvez? Why of all people they're doing to Tony Schiavone? Makes no sense. And it's annoying. Like, what's the point? Why even have him in the ring to interview Kenny Omega if Don Callis just goes take the microphone away from him? So, but Kenny Omega did talk. But I like the facial that Kenny Omega's got, by the way. It looks cool. You know, the facial beard that he's rocking right now. But Kenny Omega says that he woke up feeling like a king. He has beaten the toughest guy in AEW. He's beaten the greatest high flyer in AEW. He's beaten the greatest athlete in AEW. He's a top merch seller. The young up and comer. I mean, he basically he's a top merch seller and the up young comer in AEW. So then there's no one left. And with that being said, he wants to take his time off. All of a sudden, Dark Order comes out. And I say, so why are they coming out? So Evil Uno speaks on behalf of the Dark Order. He says that if he heard of Omega or you're right, that's saying that there's nobody left, there's no other challengers. And Kenny Omega's laughing and wondering, 5 is gonna wrestle me, right? And he's like, the rest of you Dark Orders, you want to wrestle me? Yeah, you can last 2 minutes or whatever, it's not that with me. And Evil Uno says, it might be true, but we're not talking about us. We're talking about someone else, someone that you know very well, who is someone who's very good friends with the Dark Order, but most likely who's very good friends with you at one point, who's a no more ranked AEW wrestler. And then you got the crowds chanting, "Hey man, hey man," and then Omega starts saying, he doesn't think the person will appreciate you, Evil Uno, talking on his behalf, nor he have the guts to face me. And then says, I think if he's basically if you're talking about who I think you're talking about, and if you think that he's worthy of holding this title belt, Omega says that he does his good night, goodbye bang and all that, and basically ends it from there because he's not coming out, hey man. And I thought we was gonna have him come out, but then he didn't come out, and I say to myself after going through the segment, and I say to myself, what the fuck was that? I was so confusing. I was like, where was Hangman? And then Omega, was mocking them as he was leaving, and I'm like, what the hell was this? What? We'll get to what happened later on. I thought that was weird. Earlier on that night, Brian Pillman Jr. talks about having friends that were like family growing up. Griff Garrison is one of them, and then he says that Miro attacked Griff Garrison, and he showed that he's nothing but a bully and a big Bulgarian bitch. And he said more than that too, by the way, which I thought was very good. Brian Pillman Jr., he's a very good talker, so pretty good promo there from Brian Pillman Jr. So then we get to Miro defending his AEW TNT Championship title against Brian Pillman Jr., excuse me. You have Griff Garrison and Julia Hart coming out there, and then Brian Pillman Jr. says, "Hey guys, I got this. You can go back. You can go back." And so we get this match between Miro and Brian Pillman Jr., and it was a good match. It was an outstanding match between Brian Pillman Jr. and Miro. And in the end, obviously, Brian Pillman Jr. didn't win. Miro did, because of course Miro was going to win. He wasn't going to lose. But not a bad effort there by Brian Pillman Jr. But Brian Pillman Jr., he didn't tap out. Because it was game over. The game over camel clutch that Miro did, and then he pulled back on him, only for Brian Pillman Jr. to pass out. And that was it. And then Miro, praise to the Lord, praise to the gods, whatever, saying, thank you, God, because he's a religion heel, who believes in God. I mean, yeah, I believe in God too. So, when it comes to Miro, I don't get this gimmick at all. Oh, by the way, Miro's got new music. By the way, he's got a new music. I'm like, good. I'm glad. The best man thing, it was good too. But just especially with his new gimmick now, with him being all about forgiveness sometimes, and talk about God, religion, and his wife and all. He's got new music that goes with it too now. So I like the music he's got. Also, let me get to Dark Order's hangout, or the Hangman Page storms, and he's not happy with the group for talking on his behalf and all that. And then the Dark Order's saying to him that you deserve this and all that, it's your time and everything, and basically saying to him, are you afraid of Ken Omega, or are you afraid of failure? Because they basically told him, you waited long enough. It's your time, and I agree. So yeah, that was it. Nothing to say about that. Taz was with Hook and Powerhouse Hobbs talking about Starks and Cage having their issues, and they're gonna settle it on Fyter Fest on July 14th for the FTW World Championship title. Brian Cage defends against Ricky Starks, and Ricky Starks is going to come back into the ring after being healed up from his neck injury. Now let me see. Is this next the one next week? Okay, one moment. I just lost it. Which was here we go. I got it now. Let me just check the calendar. Oh yeah, that's next week. Must have missed that part then. So, wait a minute. If it was next week, then wait. Never mind. The first Fyter Fest, night one, part one, I should say. But yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about another Dynamite show. Not the one that is a regular Dynamite show. So, not WWE Dynamite. So, anyways, Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero versus. Yes, Vicky Guerrero wrestling, which I was not a fan of. No one asked for this. No one wants this. And especially, pertaining to Excalibur, you got to get the people what they want. Well, the people didn't want this. But she goes against AEW Women's World Champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, with Rebel, or Reba, whichever you want to say. Match happens. Wasn't anything special, but Britt Baker looked good. And in this match, Rebel got hurt. And as far as Vicky Guerrero, and I'm being for real, folks, Rebel did get hurt. She blew out her kneecap, so she had to be helped by doctors. So it was bad, which means she's back on crutches. I mean, it's not funny that she got hurt though, but it's funny that she's back on crutches, because that was her thing, her gimmick, that she's on crutches. And that was during the time when she wasn't really hurt. It was just a thing that she got over, and they showed teachers of it. And now she's back on crutches again. So it doesn't with a legit injury. But in the end, it was Britt Baker getting the win over Vicky Guerrero with the lockjaw. After the match, Britt Baker gets attacked by Nyla Rose, and then Nyla Rose puts her through a table, which it was set up during picture-in-picture commercial, and it was a nasty powerbomb through a table, by the way. Britt Baker sold it like a champ, and she is a champ. Yes. All right, here's the last for the next AEW Dynamite review I'm going to do, where it turns to Raw Rager. that involves AEW, excuse me. See, I just about that too, or did I? Or did I do it on purpose? You may never know, because I'm a good actor. Anyways, but the lineups are QT Marshall versus Cody Rhodes in the South Beach strap match. Now I was thinking myself, maybe they'll have a strap match on the beach. it was nice, you know, South Beach strap match, but no, they didn't have that match on the beach. They have it in the ring. But we'll get to that when I do the next review. So, MJF stipulations. He's going into Chris Jericho when they had their the face to face. Andrade El Idolo will make his AEW debut in ring, I should say, against Matt Sydal. The Young Bucks will defend their AEW World Tag Team Championship titles against Penta El Zio Miedo and Eddie Kingston. Now, it was during this show they announced it to be a street fight, or they announced it afterwards, days after, whatever. But the point is, it ends up being a street fight, and we'll get to that, and that ended up being the main event too. And finally, Jake Hager, Santana Ortiz being accompanied by Conan versus Wardlow, FTR, and being accompanied by Tully Blanchard. Oh, another match, a mixed tag team match, by the way. Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy versus the Bunny and the Blade. The first time they did an intergender match was Kenny Omega and Riho versus Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, and that was the intergender match. Now, as far as the mixed tag team match, it was Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet versus Shaquille O'Neal and Jay Cargill. And which, by the way, Red Velvet, she's also part of AEW as well, so she'll be going on the roll along with them because she's part of the Nightmare family, so she's all elite. So, and also Lee Johnson too. So, just go back to the whole thing where, that whole thing with. All right, folks, let me finish up before, it starts doing it again. That it shut me off because the too much heat, even though I wasn't using the recharger this time, but whatever. But the point is, we're gonna have a second mixed tag team match happening on AEW. Where it pertains to Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy versus the Bunny and the Blade, and we'll get to that when we get to that review eventually, because we get to Jake Hager and Santana Ortiz having up their 6-man tag team match against Wardlow, FTR, and yeah, I thought it was good. Not much to say about that, so there you go. Main event time: MJF versus Sammy Guevara. A match that could have been a classic. And I say very loosely, could have been a classic. But it wasn't. The match was good. It was good with some good spots and all that and everything. But then, here's basically what happened. The finish should have been what MJF did to Sammy Guevara off the top, the second turnbuckle, I should say. The Tombstone Power Driver off the second turnbuckle to Sammy Guevara was sick. And yes, MJF, sold it too. That his knees got hurt. Not legit though, but he was selling it that he got hurt because that was sick. That's of my knowledge, that's never been done before. Not even the great Kazuchika Okada has done that before. Not that I know of. But if anyone has any information on that, let me know. If Okada ever did do that before off the top turnbuckle or on the second rope. But MJF did it, and that should have been the finish, because MJF won the match either way. But what they did, how MJF won, was bullshit, because that should have been the finish. Instead, MJF, he hits his tombstone off the second rope. Nice. Second Guevara sold like he got knocked out. MJF sells it. Like he's aching his knee. He goes to for a slow cover, a slow crawl to cover him. Referee goes for the count, and Sammy Guevara kicks out. And I'm like, no. I don't give a fuck if that wasn't his finisher. That should have been the fucking finish of the fucking match. And the fact that was not the finish, and then they did the bullshit finish instead of this finish. That right there could have been a classic main event match that could have put over MJF and Sammy Guevara too. But they didn't do it. What they did instead, they had Wardlow coming out to distract the referee to see Chris Jericho get tossed off because I can't remember what else happened. Why Chris Jericho came came out in the first place. Because Wardlow came out, I guess, whatever. So Wardlow basically attacked Chris Jericho, threw Chris Jericho off, and then referees and referee I meant to say, and some doctor was there, or security, whatever, looking around and everything. Sam Guevara looking disgusted what happened, in disbelief. Shawn Spears comes out, hits Sam Guevara with a steel chair while the referee looking, and MJF goes for the cover and gets the win. Wow. You couldn't have MJF just beat him clean. You couldn't have Sammy Guevara just lose clean. No, you had to do some bullshit finish to protect both guys. Where this could have been a classic main event between these two, building up this rivalry. In fact, this should not even been on the show of Dynamite. This should have been on pay-per-view for All Out. Because I don't care to see MJF versus Chris Jericho at All Out pay-per-view. On top of that, we've already seen MJF versus Chris Jericho on our pay-per-view already. And yeah, even though they were they were just being best friends and all that, but now they're being bitter enemies and all that. That doesn't excite me. That doesn't interest me. I don't believe in the hatred between MJF and Chris Jericho. Why? Because MJF threw off Chris Jericho off of a cushion of the Blood and Guts cage. The real build-up hatred storyline that should have been for All Out was Sammy Guevara and MJF. And what we're doing moving forward, we're going to have Sammy Guevara versus the chairman, Shawn Spears. Again, a match that doesn't interest me. In fact, if you want to do these type of matches, these should have been the matches that you should have been doing, the series of matches of these guys, when you first put the Pinnacle together in the first place. Instead of doing the whole Blood and Guts first, and then the Stay Stampede afterwards. This is ass backwards. This whole feud between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle is all ass backwards. So yeah, I did not like the main event after that. Not just because MJF going for the tombstone off the second rope to Sammy Guevara, and then Sammy Guevara kicks out of it, which is fucking bullshit. That should not have been happening. That should not. No one should be kicking out of that. Can you imagine if WWE would have done this with The Undertaker, doing a tombstone off a second turnbuckle to his opponents, and then that opponent kicks out of it, even though that's supposed to be The Undertaker's finisher. I don't understand what was going through their minds when they booked that match. But instead of going for that finish, having MJF just beat him clean, they went for a bullshit finish instead. And that was that. Then we get to a video package to close up the show. A video package of AW pertains to doing a video tribute of the Thompson and Daly place from the beginning of the pandemic with no crowds and everything to everything that's happened since then. The Brody Lee debut, the Broken Matt Hardy debut, the Stadium Stampede they did, everything that they did pertains to skits and all. Even I think they may show some dark shows, whatever. Maybe I can't remember if they did or not, but they focused more on Dynamite. And then they got to me with the Brody Lee, with the obviously with his debut, and then with him winning the TNT title, and then with that dog collar match with Cody Rhodes, when he had the dark, the dark brunette hair. And then we get to the Brody Lee tribute show, which that really got to me too. I don't remember using the Muse, by the way, pertains to this tribute package they did for pertains to the Thompson Day place, but I thought it was good. And they also with Sting, the whole thing with Sting debuting and all. Just everything that's happened, during those times, and I thought that was beautiful. It was all beautiful. So there you go. And then we did the whole thing, and then I already talked about the one with Jamal saying WWE Dynamite to end the show. So there you go. And folks, that will do it for your WWE Dynamite review on All Elite Wrestling review. I'm just kidding. But there you go, folks. That was your AEW Dynamite results for this All Elite Wrestling review. And yeah. And by the way, if anything should have been the main event after that bullshit finish, it should have been the TNT Championship title match. That should have been the main event. So that's my thoughts of it. Five matches for the Total Wrestling for a regular Dynamite show back on the Wednesdays. And my overall showing for the show, I'm gonna go with a 6 out of 10. I mean, it's still a decent show, but the main event didn't please me at all. Again, if anything should have been the main event, it should have been Miro versus Bram Pillman Jr. because at least that was a legit finish with no interference, no outside distractions, none of that shit. That was a legit finish. So, there you go. And my nose is running, by the way. That was going to take her off. That's embarrassing, by the way. I mean, what's more embarrassing? Me wearing my nose running during the show? Or Jabral saying WWE Dynamite during the show? Pick your poison. With that being said, until then, stay well, stay safe, take care of yourself, everything that's going on in the world, wear your mask, get vaccinated, love one another, God bless one another, live in peace and harmony for us all. Be better to people, and they'll be better back to you, and show respect to them, and they'll show respect back to you. And that being said, for his natural born driller, saying peace on the streets, I am out here. Tata for now. Take care.